Welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. We have a very special guest with us. We have theater actress Autumn Gieb. Welcome to Rhythm and Roads.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And prior to this start of the interview, we were already having a great discussion. And then I'm like, wait, I forgot to hit the record button. What am I doing?
Oh, whoopsie.
We can go through the whole 30 minutes without even me having anything recorded, and I would have been like, oops.
Oh no.
But anyway, well, welcome to the Rhythm and Roads. Looking forward to hearing your story.
Thank you.
Yeah, how's your morning been so far?
So far nice. I kind of took the day off since yesterday was the closing production of a show I just directed.
Awesome.
So I was just like, I need some recovery time.
Yes, you need some you time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick before we get into the journey, what do you plan on doing on your day off? Anything cool? Anything just relax?
It's gonna be more theater.
More theater?
Yeah,
What do you mean
because
by what?
well, I'm actually I'm already into the next production that I'm working
Oh,
on.
wow. Okay.
So, which I'm a stage manager and a costumer for. So,
Okay.
this afternoon I have a meeting with one of the actors to work on her costume and discuss her costume because it's a period piece. And
Okay.
then we have rehearsal this night. So, I guess no rest for the wicked.
Oh my God. Wow. Well,
Uh,
hopefully after this interview, I'll have some time to rest a little bit.
I'm probably gonna get a giant Dr. Pepper after
Yeah, there you
this.
go. I love Dr. Pepper. Any certain flavors with the Dr. Pepper or just the
Oh no,
classic?
I'm a purist. I was just like, it has to be the real thing or nothing at all. No.
Like the original, you mean? Just the classic?
Exactly,
Yeah, okay.
exactly. Just regular Dr. Pepper and I'm good.
Now, I gotta say, I mean, that's good too. I like the classic. But there was a coconut, I don't know if you remember that. There was like a coconut Dr. Pepper that came out last year, or maybe around
I
the
heard
summer.
about people talking about that, and
It
I do
was
love coconut, but I don't know.
it was good. It was good.
Oh,
Yeah.
not sure about that.
And the thing is with me, I'm the same way. Like I like my classics, I like the originals, but because it was
Hmm.
so hyped and everything was, everyone was trying it, I was like, all right, I'll try it. But it was good. It was. It had a very nice balance of the classic of Dr. Pepper with the coconut, just a bit of a flavor. It just went well. I was like, great, this is summertime. Yes. That's all I got.
Mm.
So, wait, anyway, we'll move on. We're not here to talk about Dr. Pepper. All right. So, the journey, Autumn. Who or what inspired you to want to pursue to be a theater actress and pursue everything that pertains to theater?
Well, I have a background of performing. So started off as like a musician and singer.
Oh, you did?
Uh,
No way.
yeah, because my that's actually my background. I My mom was a musician. She had like every degree possible that you could get for music,
Wow.
and stuff. And so
Really?
I grew up in a musical artistic family. My
Very
mom
cool. Very cool.
my mom was a music teacher. My dad was an art teacher. That's how they met because they both taught at the same high
Oh,
school in Taos, and then got married and produced a few kids. And I was the last one. And I joked that they stopped with me because they just got perfection. Um, and so my mom like all taught us music at an early age. I learned how to sing, play the piano, play the recorder like you do when you're little. And when I was 10, my mom looked at me and she said, "You're going to learn how to play the flute." And I was like, "Okay."
oh, okay. Anything
Yeah,
else?
it literally was like that. She was just like, "Oh, you're going to enroll in band because you're going into sixth grade and you're going to learn how to play the flute." And I said, "Okay." And then a flute scholarship got me to college, so
Oh,
I guess that
cool.
that was helpful.
Yeah.
Um,
Congrats on that.
but like I would also do musicals a lot in school because my mom directed me in my first musical when I was about 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
And because she was an opera singer as well, and so she taught me opera. And I decided whenever you're deciding like, oh, you're gonna go to college, what are you gonna major in? And I was like, I guess I'll do music. I guess that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, I'll go into music. So I started studying music. I was, and since I was going on a flute scholarship, For the first 2 years, I went to Western in Silver City.
Oh, cool.
And but then I was just like, man, I really like the acting part of
Mm.
musical theater. So literally on my 18th birthday, because I technically started college when I was 17,
Hmm.
I went to an audition, and they were doing the Diary of Anne Frank.
Oh, wow.
And so I auditioned, and it was a really simple audition where
Yeah.
he just had people um either uh sing Mary Had a Little Lamb or Happy Birthday. Like he just kind of wanted to see how people's stage presence would be. And then
Yeah.
he would like read like parrot people and put things from the script. So because it was my birthday, I got a room full of strangers to individually sing me happy birthday. Because I was like, well, it's my birthday today. And so all these people sang
Oh,
me happy
cool.
birthday.
That's
And
cool.
I got cast in it. And like I called my mom and she was like super excited. She's like, my daughter's an actress. And I was like, okay, I'm just, awkward 18-year-old. And then it just sort of like from there I was like, oh my goodness, I kind of like this acting thing. And I still wanted to pursue music because I was really interested in actually writing music for movies.
Oh,
um that
that
was my original
plan.
intention.
Yeah.
And so I like was like, oh well, I'll minor in theater. And I was like, okay. And then whenever I moved transferred to NMSU, I really got involved in opera, which
Oh,
I
wow.
love. I love opera is sort of almost like my I don't know, really first love. I would say
Yeah.
probably it's my first love.
That's awesome.
And so unfortunately, because NMSU is so much of a bigger school, it's either okay, you can do theater or you can do opera. You cannot do both.
Oh, you can
You
do
don't.
both? Okay.
No, there's not really time.
Oh,
So
true.
I chose opera instead, and
Wow.
did that. And but then I was like, man, I really like acting, and I was only playing like chorus roles in
Mhm.
opera, which is fun, and it can be a lot of fun. But I was like, well, I'd really like to do more acting. And I had this squirrely little thought in my head that I was like, maybe I could do this as a career. So I started trying to audition for things and do
Mhm.
your typical stuff. I was going to auditions in El Paso. I was submitting auditions everywhere. And then then I had to actually feed myself and pay rent.
Yeah.
So I fell into doing tech support and doing computer stuff, which I love as well. I am a nerd that likes to code.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what I do
Yeah.
to like
That's
I
your
work
bread and
at.
butter.
Yes, I am like a system administrator, is what I do for a living. But I still was just like, man, I really like this acting, and not a lot of film stuff around here.
Mhm.
But I saw an audition for a play
Mhm.
at the Black Box Theater downtown, and it said that they were doing this play called Enchanted April. And I was like, I think I've heard of that movie. It's British. And I was like, I can do British accents. I grew up watching British television because my mom had um, lived in the UK for a while,
Mhm.
and so she was like very much a part, like British culture was very prevalent in my family. And I was just like, I could do British accents. Let's just go and audition. And then I got the part, and I was
Oh,
like, awesome! I'm so excited because I hadn't done anything since college. Like I would audition and
right.
never get cast, and I was just like, ah, okay, I guess they're not gonna get me. And it that just spiraled from there.
That's so wow.
So that was 2009 that I
Wow,
auditioned for.
2009?
Yes, 2009 that I auditioned for Enchanted April.
Okay.
And so I was just like, all right, there we go. I've been involved ever since,
That's so cool.
through different things. Like I've done things from costuming because I did my mom taught me how to sew because that woman was a Renaissance woman. Um, so people found out I could sew and they're just like, "Can you do these costumes?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Oh, wow.
And then
Your mom's
I've
so cool, man. Like she just has all these hats of different things that she can do.
Yeah,
All these different hats, man. That's awesome.
my mom was an amazing woman. But both my parents were. My dad was an amazing artist
Oh, wow.
in different mediums. He made jewelry, he worked with metal sculptures, he did wood carving, he made
Hey,
puppets, and he was he was a brilliant, they were both brilliant artists.
wow. And it was, I'm sorry, Das, is your dad a musician as well?
He was not.
Oh, okay.
He was. I like to attribute because I also try to work in voiceover,
Mm.
and I like to do voices and accents.
Oh,
And
cool.
I'm usually the play that I'm working on right now. I'm the dialect coach for the actors,
Oh, wow.
and
Okay.
typically I tend to be the dialect coach. But my mom could kind of do accents, but my mom had a beautiful, beautiful singing voice.
Wow.
My dad always joked that she sounded like Julie Andrews, and I was like, I'd agree. And my dad could do voices and accents. I mean, he would do with puppet shows, he would do different voices and so forth, and he'd do Cockney accents and all sorts of stuff. So I hope that I got the best of both of them.
Ah, I believe you did. Yeah.
I
I
hope
mean,
so.
like, dang, so much of just, I guess, so much talent that was given to you in a way that I'm just like, dang, like you don't even have to go out there and pay for lessons. Your parents are just like, here, you're gonna learn this, all different variety of it.
It was one of those,
Man,
like, growing up in an artist household where, like, packing up the car and going to Renaissance fairs, and my mom was just like, hey, you're gonna play this, and
yeah.
because I was small enough to be in the puppet booth with my dad, I had to like change the puppet. He'd put his hands down and I'd change out the puppets, and then so it was like, okay.
So
I
is
was
this
like,
kind of like the puppets from like Sound of Music, kind of like during that, like
no,
kind of
not
like that, or more what?
no, those are marionette puppets.
Oh, okay, okay.
These were hand
Oh,
puppets. And my
hand
dad,
puppets. Okay,
yeah, they were hand puppets. So
okay,
my dad was what was called a punch man.
okay.
So Punch and Judy is a traditionally English puppet show
Hmm.
that's done like it been done for hundreds of years, and my dad would do the Punch and Judy show because Punch was allowed to make fun of the king and so forth.
Okay.
And that's how they could kind of like mock the monarchy and talk about what was going on in the world. And my parents like would do, and it's a morality tale as well, because Punch is an awful human being,
Hmm.
because he beats his wife, he beats his kid, he throws the baby out the window, he beats up the cop, and then he gets like tried and hung and everything, and then like
Hmm.
the devil comes and gets him and takes him down to hell. So he was a morality tale as well as he
Wow.
could make fun of things. And so
Okay.
my parents used to teach the history of Punch and Judy
Hmm.
while performing the Punch and Judy show.
Yeah.
So
Interesting. Okay. Well, thank
yeah,
you for sharing that.
yeah, no problem. I'm trying to actually bring Punch and Judy back.
Are you really? Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm planning for the Renaissance Fair this year to actually, with my dad's original puppets and everything, bring back Punch and
Oh,
Judy.
wow.
So,
That's so cool. So leading up to that point with your parents, now you graduated from NMSU, I take it,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, all
Okay.
done.
All done. And now where are you at currently in what you've been doing with your theater?
Well, what I've been doing a lot is I'm very involved with the Black Box Theater.
Hmm.
I have been involved with other theater companies around town. I was briefly on the board of the Las Cruces Community Theater. I
That's
was
cool.
their costume chair
Wow.
for almost 5 years. And
Oh, good for you.
I started there as an actor. Shortly after I did Enchanted April,
Yeah.
I did another I the next play I did was at the community theater, and then I did like 4 plays in 1 year, which is exhausting.
Oh, I bet.
And that was just acting in them, and then I started like, okay, I want to like people found out I could sew, and I was like, okay, I'll do. And I did when I was in college. I interned with the costumer for the opera company. So
Okay, cool.
I did that, and on top of like my mom teaching me how to sew when I was little. Um, and so I just continued to do that. And then I was always interested in writing.
Mm,
So I wrote a couple of one act plays that got put on at the one act play festival that the community theater does.
very cool.
And then I in like 20 and then I was just like, well, I also like to direct too.
Hmm.
And I did a shot, directed a short film,
Okay.
um, and called Nunja Vampire Hunter.
Sounds
Um,
cool. I like that
it's
title.
it's about a nun who's a ninja who kills vampires. I mean,
Oh, wow.
like you do. And I
Kind of like
used,
that book, the movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
yeah, a little bit. It was a very grindhouse inspired, so
Oh,
forth,
cool.
which is I like ridiculous films, and so I
Right.
was like, I'm gonna make a ridiculous film. And I utilized a lot of my friends from theater, which was great because I was just like, I need enough actors to do this. And I was like, hey, you, as well as having like
You.
auditions.
So
And I was like,
cool.
come
Yeah.
do this. Come be in my silly vampire movie where I'll make you uh, fight vampires or like die and put plastic teeth in with fangs.
How
um,
cool, man. So
and
this is an actual film, or
yeah,
people in theater of this film?
no, it's an actual film.
Oh, heck yeah.
It is streaming on my friend's website. We
Oh,
had
it
it.
is. Okay.
Yeah, it was my friend David Salcedo. If you go to his website davidsalcedo.com,
Mhm.
he has it there because he edited it for me.
Okay. Right.
um and we did have it on the festival circuit for a little bit years ago, but that's those days are long gone on that one.
How
But
far back was that one? That
oh,
film?
that well, it came out in 2017 was when it came
Oh, it's
out.
been a
So
while. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it has been a bit. It briefly did stream on Amazon
Oh, I did.
Prime.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's no longer streaming there. It's streaming on davidsalcedo.com's
Okay.
website, which very, very proud of that film. And I'd love to get back into film, but that like made me realize that I enjoy directing as
Yeah.
as well as acting.
Right.
And so I decided, I was just like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to direct like a play?
Yeah.
Because I've done enough of them at this point. So
Hmm.
I submitted and they accepted it. I directed my first full-length show at the community theater called Piecemeal. And
Piecemeal. Okay.
yeah, and it was a musical, and it's a Frankenstein musical.
What? How
Yeah,
cool.
it
Yeah.
was it's about Igor, who wants to
Okay.
be a doctor.
Okay.
Um, and he runs across a young Victor Frankenstein, and Frankenstein is off to go be a doctor, but he really wants to be a fashion designer.
What?
So they decide to swap places.
Oh, wow. That's an
And
interesting story.
yeah, it was super fun, and I was
I
and
bet.
it was, and of course, since Nunja Vampire Hunter, Piecemeal, and I was like, they kind of
Yeah.
just fit together. And then I did some more stuff at the community theater, and then I was just like, well, I want to pursue some other things because I was just stuck doing musicals,
Hmm.
which
Right.
is fine. I do, my background is in music,
Oh, true.
so
Yeah.
yeah. But I was really more interested in just what we call straight plays, which is
Okay.
non-musicals. And so I, proposed to the Black Box Theater, like, hey, can I do this particular play?
Yeah.
And this was in 2018, a play called Middletown, which is a fantastic play by Will Eno. And they accepted it, and it actually did really well. I was so proud of that production because we had sold out performances. We actually had to add chairs into the theater because people were
Dang, are
wanting
you
to come see
serious?
this.
Wow.
And I was so proud by that production. And since then I've just continued to like work on theater shows. I'm the costume shop foreman for the No Strings Theater Company, which is the resident theater company at the Black Box Theater.
Okay.
And so I'm involved in so many so many productions there, whether on stage, and literally I do everything there that I can. Anything that is needed by a production, like I've, directed and been in shows. I've costumed them. I have stage managed. I have run the board. I've like helped find props. I,
Wow.
have helped build sets. I was like anything that needs to be done because the theater community here is so precious to me, and it's 100% volunteer. We
Hmm.
we don't get paid to do this,
You don't
but
at all for
no,
you?
we
Really?
don't. It's 100% volunteer for us to do it.
Wow.
And we love it. Like,
Yeah.
uh, we love to. My show just ended. I did just directed a production of The Girl on the Train,
Oh, you did. Okay.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
based on
that's
that book, right?
it's
Yeah.
based on the book and the movie.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will admit, the movie is crap. I
I
do not like
did
the
I
movie.
did watch it when it first came. What was the first one that came out of that series? Was it that one? The Girl on the
Uh,
Train?
well, yeah, it's just The Girl on the Train.
Okay, because I know that they brought out other series pertaining to, like, not movies but books pertaining to.
Yeah. I know because I know a lot of people like Gone Girl and Girl on the Train kind of get lumped in together.
Yeah, something like
Because they're
that.
kind of that same genre, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's a girl and it's a thriller," and I'm like, "Okay." Um,
But I did see the movie and I wasn't really too impressed, you know.
yeah, I wasn't too impressed. And whenever I saw the play, like because I was on Samuel French, who is a play publisher.
Okay.
I stalk their website because I was like, what plays are coming out? I want to watch. I just want to
Yeah.
see which ones I'm going to read. And I saw The Girl on the Train. And I was like, ugh, I remember that movie. That movie was terrible.
Yeah.
And then and I was like, but you know what? The book was a bestseller.
True.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll buy it. I'll buy the script. I'll read it. I'll see. And I read it and I was like, oh, this is good.
Oh.
This is a good
Oh
play.
wow.
And then, like, about 4 months ago, I picked up the book because I knew about a year ago I was doing this play. And I was like, well, I guess I'll buy the book and I'll read it. And I was like, oh, the book is really good. And I was just like, so this is what people liked. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. And it's weird being those things because it's one of those things I love to do. I love to do film stuff on stage,
Okay.
whether it's because I know that some people think that one is better than the other. There's that debate. They're just like, oh, theater's better than that. Like real actors do theater. Oh, like, no, 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 film is better. Film is superior because that's one more problem. You have both that come in. And I always tell people, I was like, they're different.
Yeah, they are.
They neither one is better than the other. I love both. Of course, being a ginger child that could not go outside because the sun is evil, um, I stayed in and read books and watched a lot of movies.
Man, okay.
So I get it. I was like, I love
Yeah.
movies. I try to watch so many movies. My letterbox list is ridiculously long. My watch list of what I've seen.
Really? Okay.
It's so ridiculously long. I
Man.
was so thrilled when I like hit over 3,000, not like six.
3,000.
Oh yeah. Like I said, ginger child who was not allowed to go outside because the sun would kill her.
God, 3,000. Okay.
I would watch movies and I would read plays, and sometimes I would like read I'd watch like Shakespeare films and I would read the Shakespeare play along with the film,
Oh, that's
um
cool. Okay.
as because I was a nerdy child. Um like
Hey,
I'd
that's
sit there
actually
with
cool. I like
I'd
that.
sit there with Kenneth Branagh movies and I'd have my parents' complete works of William Shakespeare and I'd be sitting there reading it along and things like that. I'm not kidding. I did that when I was 10 years old with Henry
Oh.
V. I have a very
Okay.
distinct memory of doing that. But it's such a different thing. That's why I want to bring an essence of film to
Mm,
theater.
mhm.
And The Girl on the Train was kind of a really nice way to do it because most people have either seen the movie or they've read the book.
Right.
And we had a lot of people that came to see the show that they're just like, oh yeah, I read the book, and they still didn't guess who the killer was. Because we get to the end, we're like, did you guess who it was? And like,
I
no, I
know.
couldn't tell.
Right?
And I was like, oh, that's right. I was like, oh, because, red herrings, we throw in this. I attribute it to my actors. My actors did an incredible job. I
Cool.
was
Yeah.
blessed to get an amazing
That's
group.
awesome.
I got people that I had worked with before, people I've directed before, some people who I'd worked with but had not directed,
Mm.
people I had never directed. I even had an actor who pretty much it was the very first thing they had ever done. And
Really?
yeah, so I had
Oh,
very
nice.
seasoned pros. I had very green actors,
Hmm.
and it was a great thing to do. And I love the process that that you can go through with theater, and that we went through that with Girl on the Train, where we sit down and talk about things. And
Hmm.
that's where it's so different, because with film it's a lot of hurry up and wait. You get
Hmm.
ready, you get your script ahead of time. You need to be off book by the time you get on to set.
Hmm.
You might have changes that come through.
True.
um my superpower is being able to fall asleep quickly, which comes in handy whenever you're having to wait around for sets. Because I've
For you to fall asleep,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I will snooze real quick in the green room or whatever, or the trailer
I
before
like
I've
your
done that.
superpower. I wish I could do that.
I I did that on a film shoot once. I was like,
Oh, no way,
awesome.
you did?
Yeah, yeah, no. I
I bet
did
it was
it.
like a minute after you left, you walked away, and she's like, she's already passed out?
Yeah, that is my superpower. I can fall asleep
Dang.
when I need to.
Wow.
Um, but with theater, you get that rehearsal process where you get to sit down and build character. And I kind of tell a lot of actors around here, especially if they're wanting to do film or just pursue acting in general.
Yeah.
Theater is a great way to get into acting, because it gets you the chance to work on character, to
Mhm.
analyze the script,
Right.
which you may not necessarily get to work on with a film. Because in this area, most of, unless you're working on a student project or an independent ending project, if a big production's going to come through here,
Hmm.
you know you'll most likely you'll be a day player. You might get a very small supporting role, but you're going to have maybe 10, 20 lines throughout the whole script, and you may not get to work the whole process. You may not even get to read the whole script, because you only get the scene, your scenes.
Right, right.
When you're in a theater production, you get the whole script.
Mm.
um, you're probably more likely to get like a meaty role, so to say, like a lead or a very like supporting. You could be the antagonist or protagonist or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And you get to sit down and analyze the script over a period of time. Usually our rehearsal time is about 6 weeks.
Wow, okay.
And you'll get to sit there and analyze. And that's what I like to do as a director, is I like to sit there and analyze the script and think about what certain things mean.
Hmm.
I'm not one of those who's like a fan of, like, it's the Stanislavski method sort of thing. I've never really ascribed to that.
Oh, okay.
Usually that's the screenwriter or the playwright's job.
Okay.
There's a great book that David Mamet, who is a playwright and has also written a lot of film, that he talks about um, what you need to do as an actor. He has this great book, and I cannot remember the full title.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, it's Heresy and something. It's a True and False, Heresy and something for the actor. It's
Okay.
called True and False, but I don't remember what the subtitle is.
Okay.
But it's a great book.
Mm.
And it's real short. Like you can read it in an afternoon. It's very short, but he talks about, as actors, he's like, outside of like going in and learning like how to use your instrument, how to learn how project, how to learn some of the technical things you need to learn. He's like, you don't need to go to school to be an actor. He's like, you just need to go and do it.
Ooh.
And I was like,
Huh.
oh, that's cool. And he like just like talked so much crap about the Stanislavski and the method in there, and I was just like, oh my goodness. And I laughed hysterically, because I've heard different things. I've had teachers be like, oh yeah, you don't want to do the method. The method's terrible. And they're like, no, 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 you have to feel like you're the character. You have to be like this. I had a director who he used to, when we'd have like the circle ups before we would go on stage, and he'd be like, oh, imagine that you are standing in your safe place, and there's your character right next to you, and then you meld and become one.
Mm.
So different theories, which that's another reason why working in theater is great, because you do also work with different
Oh, yeah.
different methods,
Yeah.
different directors.
Right.
um but you get the rehearsal process, you get the time to analyze your character, which with film you may not necessarily get.
Mm.
Hopefully you get that time, and hopefully the script hasn't changed that morning when you walk in on in the trailer
Right.
to get makeup done. You're just like, oh, I guess I'm learning a 5-page monologue today. um
Big surprise. Welcome.
Yeah.
Oh, we got your
And I mean,
coffee just in case, but yeah.
yeah,
No.
that's true. Although, like, probably in film, you don't have to learn a 5-page monologue.
Oh, okay.
Theater, yes. As someone who has done two one-person shows,
Mhm.
I'm like 5-page monologues. That's nothing.
Wow.
So,
Well, geez, I'm like so inspired by all this. So I will agree that I actually interviewed actress Jessica N. Jimenez, and
hmm
she did recommend starting in theater if you wanted to pursue acting or learn how to act or direct.
yes.
And I was like, and then now that you mention it, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It's like I have her saying it, you, and I'm like, okay. So knowing that you mentioned about volunteering, I would
hmm
love to volunteer. I'm actually I'm
Yes.
I'm actually a background actor, so I'm trying to get more learning about all that. But knowing that she recommended it and you're mentioning it the same thing, I'm like, well then why not? Let me just
Yeah.
go with it. Yeah. I would like to do that because I've never been on. I've done some background acting with some friends of mine with their music videos and stuff
hmm
like that. But to do it in theater to learn really the aspect of your character and just how to be on set of a theater and direct and everything you can learn from all that, I think would really help me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it really does. And I think I was talking with a friend recently. We were talking about like our first theater shows. And I was reminiscing about whenever I did in Enchanted April. And we would do an archival copy of the show. And I got to watch the DVD of it. And
Okay.
and I remember watching that. And even though I got a review in the paper that said I had such a great English accent, and I was like, oh, thank you.
I want to hear this. I want to hear the English accent.
Which one? I can do several.
Just
So,
one real quick.
so whenever I was doing my English accent for Enchanted
Oh,
April,
wow.
I got very good marks on it. And I thought, oh, this is so lovely. But then whenever I went back and I actually watched my acting, I thought, oh no, this is not very good at all. I was very cringy.
Wow. Impressive.
Thank you.
Great job, man.
That's my very proper received pronunciation. Like whenever I had to play Queen Victoria, that was the voice
Oh
I loved doing.
man.
So,
That's awesome. That sounded so great,
oh,
man.
thank you.
Like, can you just talk like that now?
I know.
From
Well,
here
I
on,
do.
just talk like that. Yeah.
I did a show back in for Christmas time. We did a production of A Christmas Carol,
Oh, okay, cool.
where it's done with one person plays Scrooge, and then like there were like six of us that played everybody else.
Okay.
And so I played a whole bunch of different characters, but I ended up having to do 10 different accents in the play.
And
Yes. And one character I actually had to switch during it, and I was playing the ghost of Christmas Present,
okay, cool.
and she was Scottish, so I had to talk like this all the time, and then sometimes I had to
Oh
switch
my God.
into like a Russian, and be like, "Oh, Scrooge, Scrooge, come with me, darling," and I'd
Yeah.
have to
That's so
switch into that.
wow. That's so
And so that's what I do. So I have like it's I feel like I have multiple personality disorders.
right.
Um, but I ended up I did I essentially traveled around the UK in that, although I didn't get to do a Welsh accent and still a little disappointed in that because I love doing Welsh accents.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah, a Welsh accent is fun because it doesn't get done a lot, and actually started learning Welsh several years ago
Mm.
because why not? um, and usually whenever you do Welsh and you're like, oh hi, how you doing? No one really talks in this accent, although sometimes they do get to hear it. But it's such a beautiful accent,
Oh,
and I
that's
love
so
it so
cool.
much. I
Yeah.
love it so much. Every once in a while,
You do such a great job with just your
thank you,
accents. Like, golly.
thank you. And I hadn't even gotten to the Irish one. That's the one I'm currently working on
Oh, you're
with
currently
actors.
working on that one. Okay.
Oh yeah, doing an Irish one. And I
Oh,
was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's cool. I've done Irish ones before, so
oh
I can
wow.
just trapeze around the um
That's a
I feel bad actually. The other day I was ordering food, and I was
no way. Don't tell
and
me you spoke an
I
accent.
yeah, I did it in an English accent,
Oh
and
wow.
and I got to the because I just was getting something really quick through the
Yeah.
drive-through, and then I forgot that I had an English accent, and then the guy and he's like, "Oh my God, I love your accent." I was like, "Thank you." And there was one time where I almost didn't make it back into the United States because of that.
What?
Yeah. I went down to Palomas to take a friend to
Oh
go
my
get
God.
some dental work done, and
Okay.
we were needing to get back because I was getting ready to be on stage that
Uh-huh.
evening to be in a show, and I was doing an English accent. And my friend was telling me what she was just like. She was like, "Oh, blah blah blah." She wanted me to do some of my lines for this person while we were walking back across the border, and I was. And then we got through in the checkpoint, and they ran my passport and everything, and they were like, "Where were you born?" And I was just like, "I was born in Texas, you know what?" And then we got and they were walking to my car, and I thought, turned to my friend, and I was like, "That's really weird. They were asking me all these questions, and they ran my passport." And then she's like, "You were still doing your English accent." I was like, "Oh no."
You didn't even notice. It just came out. And they're all
it
like,
it
Texas? Don't
did.
you have supposed to have like a Texan accent?
It did. And I was just like, well,
Oh wow. What a story, man.
so I was like, well, I almost didn't get back into. I showed up at the theater and I was like, so I was almost detained at the border
Oh.
for being English.
Wow. That's funny. That thanks for sharing that.
No
That made
problem.
my morning. Wow. You didn't even notice. You're just not even doing it on purpose. It's just natural.
I find that often, and then I do have a habit of going around town, especially whenever I'm working and developing an accent, to just like, okay, I'm just gonna go around and pretend to
Yeah.
be,
Who are
this
you
is.
visiting from? It's me. Oh, forgot you.
Oh yeah, I'll,
Oh,
I'll
did
come up
you?
with
Okay, never mind.
I'll come up with a backstory and everything.
Yeah,
I'll be like, oh yes, I'm from Surbiton, which is a suburb of London, and oh yes, I grew up there. I went to the University of Reading. It's totally fine.
that's funny. Wow.
And they're like, oh, I feel bad in a way, but I'm just like, I
Yeah,
was like, I'm
just
working
something
on it. I'm
fun. Yeah.
trying to develop it. I'm trying to make sure it sounds like it actually
And then when you
would.
walk away and exit the door, you say thank you in just your regular English. They're like, the heck was that?
Yeah,
Like she went
yeah.
from an accent to just, all right, thank you.
Yeah, well, and then there's just sometimes where I forget that I forget I'm doing one like the other day in the drive-through. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oops."
Like, oops. And then right when you get there, you're like, okay, here you go. Thank you. And they're
Although I find that I
like, oh,
slip into my Scottish or my Irish one
oh.
very very easily, so I end up going, "Oh, hey, how are you? Are you doing all right? Okay." I
That's,
was like, "Oh, I just
I'm
want that
shaking
one
this
over
whole
there.
thank
Is
you
that
memory.
fine?"
Wow. Oh, that sounds so much fun. I would, if I knew all those accents, I'd just, yeah, do the same thing. Just, hey, have fun with it. People, but who are you visiting from? And I just be like, oh, they see me at where I work or something. The heck? I thought you were from out of town. Just moved.
I
Oh,
I
what a
would I
trip.
would yeah, I would do my well, because this Girl on the Train takes place in the UK, so I got into the habit of, to help keep my actors in their accent, I would just do rehearsals in an accent. And so I would do my director speech before every show in an English accent. And so I'd have to be like, "Oh, welcome to Black Box Theatre. I normally don't talk like this, but it's just way too much fun."
Yeah,
And
it sounds
and
fun. God, I wish I could do all that. Golly.
someone actually asked me yesterday during intermission, they're just like, "Where did you grow up?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm an American." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
They're like, dang, really? Are you sure?
I was like, "Yes, I was like, "No, I'm an American. I grew up in Lincoln County, home of Smokey Bear.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I grew up."
Good stuff. Golly. Ah, Autumn, I wish I can go on forever with this conversation because it's just so good. Yeah. Thanks for sharing your journey from the
No, you're
beginning to where you're
welcome.
at and the little preview of just your accents. Just man, sounds so great. Love it.
Well, thank you. It's something I like to do. I
I would
do.
love to do that too if I knew how to do that.
I can
Like
I can teach you. I
I do
can
that
teach
every day
you.
if I could.
I
Answer
can
the
teach
phone.
you. Yeah, I
Josh, is that you? I don't want to pretend because I don't want to sound bad, but
They
Yeah.
sound Irish and be like, yes, it's me. How you doing?
I rather not try it because they'll be like, dude, really? You try anyway. But if I
Oh, it's
learn from the expert here, then maybe I'll play around next time with it.
I can teach you the tricks. That's one of the things of being a vocalist is there's a lot of carryover from
No, I bet.
singing and doing voice work.
That's cool. You know how to sing as well. Like, I mean, but just like what kind of genre of music that you said you know how to sing?
Well, I'm a classically trained singer, so I,
Okay.
learned, you know, all the basics. I sang opera,
Hmm.
and I did musicals, but
Okay.
I love opera. I love all different genres of music.
Okay.
I mean, my two favorite bands are Duran Duran and
Oh
Wallows.
yes, Duran.
Like,
Heck
I
yeah.
love Duran Duran. I
Heck
love
yeah. I love
the band
Duran.
Wallows. I don't know if you know them. They're an
I don't.
amazing
Are
band.
they like 80s or what?
No, they're current band.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah, they just I just saw them on tour
Oh, cool.
last year, and of course Duran Duran's still touring because they
Oh
had
yeah.
an album that came out 2 years ago. But I love both of them.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw them 2 years ago in Vegas, Duran.
I saw them in 2022 in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth?
Uh,
Okay.
yes, no, it was
Now, I'm gonna just
killer.
be straight up and honest, okay? I love Duran. I grew up listening to their greatest hits, and I was just, especially the Reflex, I was all
Oh yeah.
hyped on that music video, like, oh, so cool. But I was not like, I was actually, I should say this, I was a bit disappointed because of the drummer. And it
Roger
wasn't just
Taylor?
me. Yeah, it wasn't just
What?
me. There was people around me that I don't know that brought it up too at the show.
Mm.
And they were just like, "What is up with this drummer, man?" I think he was, I don't know. I don't want to say maybe, I don't know. But the way he played, and I'm a drummer as well. I'm a musician.
Hmm.
Like for those that probably are not drummers and they're just here for the show, they were just already commenting like, "What's going on with him?" He was like just out.
Uh,
He was not on beat. He was just very just the way he played, it didn't sound good. And the thing is, that's like the
oh,
foundation of the band.
yeah.
And so when I would listen, I mean, there was some, I'm not saying every song was bad, but there was times I watched, I was like, dude, like, bro, what is this? Like,
Oh
yeah,
no. Maybe he was
that's
just having an off day.
maybe,
I
well, maybe, or maybe it was on something. I don't know.
maybe. I
Oh,
mean,
there's I was like,
who
okay,
knows?
bro.
John Taylor wrote a whole entire book about his journey.
Yeah.
So, amazing bass player, like, and then you got Nick Rhodes, who's
Oh
the
yeah.
controller, and
Right,
then
right.
of course Simon Le Bon. Love him.
Oh, Simon, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, but I mean, I'm not saying the show was bad, like horrible, but it just for those, like I said, for me, I'm a drummer. Yes, I'll pick up like that. But for those sitting next to me, that
Hmm.
I went by myself. But for those that are not familiar with how the drums should sound, and they're just probably like, "Hey, everything sounds great." No, they were just like, "Hey, what's up with that drummer?" Like they weren't even telling me; they were telling their friends or whatever. Like, "What's up with the drummer?" I'm like, "I agree, right?"
Oh
Like.
no.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen him ever, right? So this is my first
Hmm.
time, so I was really just bummed out. I was like, that sucks, dude. You had to. I mean, he was doing that on multiple songs. Just
Oh
yeah, I don't know what
no.
was going on that night, but yeah, maybe he just really had a bad day, or I don't know. But
Oh.
I'm still a fan of Duran. I love you guys.
Oh, I'm a Longfellow fan. And what's funny enough is, so when you direct a play, you have
Mhm.
to pick out the music for like your pre-show when people are coming to sit in the house, and then
Oh,
you have
okay,
the
yeah,
music you pick out for intermission.
yeah.
And every single show I direct, either in the pre-show and intermission, there's a Duran Duran song.
Oh, heck yeah,
And I always tell my cast, I was like, you have to guess the Duran Duran song because I'll use B-sides, I'll use ones that people have never
you
heard of.
good. Yeah.
And then when I directed a production in 2023 that was a production of Ben-Hur,
Wow,
uh,
really? Ben Hur?
yeah, it's Ben-Hur, but it's a comedy done with four people and it's ridiculous.
Oh,
And there's even the chariot race does happen, but we had it with shopping carts. Um,
oh, wow.
it was very Monty Python-esque, and so I was just like,
I would love to
well,
have seen this.
and I was just like, I put a Duran Duran song in there, and like
What did
none
you
of the
put?
I put their song Tel Aviv.
I think I might have heard that one, Tel Aviv.
It's
Okay.
totally instrumental.
Oh, it is? Okay.
So people don't, and it's a B-side. It's I think I even used like the night version of it. And I'd be like, "Oh, can you guess the Duran Duran song?" They're like, "But none of the songs you picked have like lyrics in them." And I was like, "Yeah." I was just like, Duran Duran does have one or two songs
Yeah.
that have no vocals.
Right, right.
And I was like, "Well, it's been her. It takes place in the Middle East." I was like, and they had a song called Tel Aviv, and I was like, "That works perfectly."
There you go.
and and then usually I have to tell them, I was like, okay, this is the Duran Duran song, because I'll pick like obscure B-sides. And when I did a one woman show, the first one woman show I ever did, called Every Brilliant Thing, where I'm on stage for 90 minutes, no stopping. In the script, it called for me to dance to a song, and the director, she's like, well, pick a song that you want to dance to, and I was like, well, it's going to be Duran Duran. And she's like,
Okay.
okay, what? And she's like, so we picked Planet Earth, because I was just like, oh my goodness, that's like, because I was like, I gotta find a fun, danceable
Yeah.
Duran Duran song. And I was like, even though that was their first hit ever, like most people don't remember that one because they always think of the Rio album, and they're just like, oh, like Hungry Like the Wolf or Rio, or
Real.
or they think of like Girls on Film,
Yeah.
or they even start thinking about um A View to a Kill or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, no, let's bring back Planet Earth,
That's
ba
cool.
ba 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 ba, and I just danced like an idiot for, you know, 30 seconds to Duran Duran, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes,
So cool. Awesome. Well, oh, well, I have to now close the podcast out, and I hate the fact that
problem.
I do because I have an interview at 11, and I'm just like,
Ah,
ah, I'm gonna be like, hey, can we reschedule? And I'm just playing. I'm not gonna do that to you. Um, but yes, thank you again, Autumn, for coming on and sharing just this incredible journey and this fun experience, just getting to know your side of music and just theater and your
thank you.
accents. Like, wow, that was a great laugh earlier. That was fun. Yeah. So, how can the viewers find you on social media?
Well, I'm all over social media pretty much. I have the same handle that I've had since I was a teenager,
Okay.
which is Cheeto Princess, as in like the Cheetos, the snack.
Hot Cheetos.
Yes.
Yes.
You love a snack when you're a teenager and it just
Yeah.
stays with you forever. So
Nice.
just Cheeto Princess, it's all one word.
Okay.
I'm on everything. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Are you actively on Instagram right now?
I am. I'm not as active as I used to be, but I do still post there on occasionally. I do like photo dumps. I'm
Oh,
getting
okay.
ready to post a photo dump from closing weekend and everything.
Sweet. All right.
So I'm on like Twitter and Blue Sky, and I'm everywhere.
All everywhere.
Yeah, on TikTok I'm the Cheeto Princess because someone took my handle, and I was like, how dare
Oh
you?
man, right. How
How
dare they?
how dare you? So pretty much if you put Cheeto Princess, all one word, into the internet, you'll find me. If
Oh.
you just put my first and last name, I'm literally the only Autumn Gieb in the entire world. So if you see something, it's me.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Well, and I'm also gonna tag you in our posts of our interviews, so that's why I was
Great.
asking if you're active on there. So cool. Well, thank you, Autumn, for coming on Rhythm and Road, sharing your story. Had a great time, and I look forward to working with you, hopefully
Yes,
soon, to get some acting skills going and just learning about the whole
definitely.
theater experience. That'd be fun. Maybe a little
Yes.
accent on the side, little accent on the side.
Fantastic. We'd love to have you. It's yeah, love to work with you, and thank you so much for interviewing me for this.
Oh
I've
yeah, you're
really enjoyed the
welcome.
conversation.
Yeah, I did
Thank you.
too. I wish we could have the whole day of just drinking drinks and talking accents, different accents.
Anytime,
That'd be
anytime.
fun.
I will take you through the whole continent of Europe.
Oh my God. Yes. And then we'll play music too in the background with Duran Duran.
Play some Duran Duran. We'll play Wallows. We'll play everybody. Some
Everybody.
NXS.
Yes, NXS, Pet Shop
Mm-hmm.
Boys, Erasure.
Yes, some Depeche
Yeah.
Mode.
Depeche
All that.
Mode. Yes, yes.
Trash Can
Yes,
Sinatras.
I've seen Depeche Mode in concert. Yeah, they're freaking amazing.
I'm very jealous. I've not. I want to.
Sounds good, Autumn. Well, we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you again, Autumn, for coming on. It was a great time. Had a great conversation with you and wish you the best on everything you're doing in the theater and everything else on your projects. So
No, thank you. You as well. Like
thank you.
this. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.